Picture a lake sitting alone at 11,000 feet. No rivers feeding into it, no streams connecting it to anything below. Just ice-cold water, granite walls, and sky. No human being touched that lake for thousands of years. And yet, if you reached in right now, your hand might brush against a fish. How did it get there? The easy answer is that someone put it there, and sometimes that's true, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes those fish have been in that lake longer than recorded history, longer than the trails that lead to it, longer than the civilizations that built the world below. And the real answer, the actual, documented, scientifically verified answer, is one of the strangest stories in nature. Let's start with what we actually know. Mountain lakes form in one of two ways. Either glaciers carve them out as they move, leaving behind hollowed basins that fill with meltwater, or volcanic activity and tectonic movement creates them over millions of years. Either way, they start empty. No fish, no amphibians, nothing. Just water and whatever microbes blow in on the wind. So the question isn't just how fish got into one isolated lake. It's how fish keep ending up in isolated lakes all over the world, over and over again, with no obvious way in. There are several answers, and each one is stranger than the last. The first answer involves birds, specifically waterfowl, ducks, herons, ospreys, egrets. In 1862, Charles Darwin noticed something peculiar. He was examining the legs of a duck he had collected and found, embedded in the mud caked on its feet, the eggs of freshwater snails. He planted those eggs. They hatched. Darwin became obsessed with the idea that birds were carrying life between bodies of water. He began collecting everything he could find attached to bird feet: aquatic insect larvae, seeds, algae, and fish eggs. Fish eggs are extraordinarily resilient. Some species produce eggs with sticky outer membranes designed to attach to aquatic vegetation. When a duck lands in a pond and then takes off, those eggs can travel attached to its feathers, its feet, or trapped in mud on its legs. A study published in 2019 in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences confirmed something Darwin only suspected. Researchers found viable fish eggs in the digestive tracts of migratory ducks. The eggs had survived being eaten, passing through the entire digestive system, and being deposited, alive, in a completely different body of water. Let that sit for a moment. A fish, not yet born, can travel inside a bird, through the sky, and land in a lake it could never have reached any other way. But birds only explain part of it, because some mountain lakes sit so high, so remote, that even migratory birds rarely visit them. And yet, they have fish. This is where the story gets stranger. The second answer is water, specifically the connections between water systems that we can't see. Mountain lakes that look completely isolated are sometimes connected underground. Fractured granite, limestone aquifers, and glacial till can carry water, and occasionally fish, through pathways invisible from the surface. In 1938, biologist Carl Hubbs spent years mapping the fish populations of isolated desert pools and mountain lakes across the American West. He found fish in basins completely cut off from any surface water connection for thousands of years. His conclusion was that ancient water connections, rivers and lakes that existed during the last ice age and then disappeared, had seeded these isolated pockets before the connections closed. The fish weren't carried in. They were already there before the lake became isolated. They were survivors of a world that no longer exists. But the strangest answer is also the simplest: tornadoes, waterspouts, violent updrafts. Weather events powerful enough to lift water from the surface of a lake can also lift small fish. Young fish, fry, juveniles, light enough to be swept airborne. In 2000, it rained small fish on the town of Mana, Ethiopia. Witnesses collected them from the ground. In 2010, it rained fish in Lajamanu, Australia, twice in the same week. These are documented events. Multiple witnesses, species confirmed. The fish fell alive. Scientists call it animal rain. It happens more often than most people realize. Waterspouts over lakes pull surface water, and everything swimming near the top, into the sky. Strong enough updrafts carry that water miles before it comes down. And if it comes down over a mountain lake, a new population has just been founded. One storm, one event, A species arrives somewhere it has never existed before. There is one more mechanism, and it matters more than any of the others. Humans. Not modern humans with fish farms and stocking programs, ancient humans. Archaeological evidence suggests that indigenous peoples across North America, South America, and Central Asia were intentionally moving fish between water bodies for thousands of years. Not as a formal practice, not as conservation, as survival. A fishing camp near a high mountain lake was more valuable if the lake had fish in it, so people brought them. Carrying live fish in containers, in animal stomach pouches, in hollowed wood. A 2017 study analyzing the genetic diversity of golden trout in the Sierra Nevada found something that changed how researchers understood the species' entire distribution. The fish weren't following natural migration corridors. They were in places their genetics said they shouldn't be. The distribution made no sense without human movement. People had been seeding these lakes for so long that scientists assumed the fish were wild. Some of them were, some of them weren't. The line between natural history and human history in these isolated lakes is blurrier than anyone expected. So here's what actually happened when fish got into that isolated mountain lake. Maybe a duck landed there 10,000 years ago and shook eggs loose from its feathers. Maybe the lake was connected to a river system during the last ice age, and the connection closed around the fish already inside. Maybe a waterspout in the valley below lifted a cloud of juvenile fish and dropped them 2 miles up. Maybe a person, 12,000 years ago, carried them up in a pouch made of deer stomach, because they wanted something to eat at altitude. Maybe all of those things happened, at different times, to different species. The lake looks empty from above. It looks like nothing should be there. But life finds its way into impossible places. It always has. The fish don't know they're not supposed to be there. They just live.